This is King Bo Christ, and you're now tuned in to the I Say That to Say This show. All right, beautiful people. Episode 41 of the I Say That to Say This podcast. I'm not even going to delay this thing. I'm here with the legend himself, Eddie Truck Gordon. What's up, man?
Oh, man, thank you for having me, Bo. You're the man. I'm super excited for being on the show. Long time overdue.
Yeah, no, seriously, it is. And I appreciate you pushing through, not feeling well. You know, and I saw a thing today, I think it's Daniel DiPiazza, his name is. He said when you make plans, I mean, not like you cancel, but when you make plans and you cancel, it's very important you follow through because you train your subconscious mind to always follow. You know, if you like forget about it, you train your subconscious mind to just give up on your plans. So yes, when you hit me like, yo, whenever you're ready, I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking awesome. Like,
I'm a big believer. If you say you're gonna do something, you follow through with it, you get it done. You know, things happen in this world, but like you said, you touched on already instantly, like a huge part that I preach to people as a fighter, as an author, as a father. You know, the subconscious mind. You know, we're too trained. We're like trained and programmed where we don't even realize it, but it's like we're in a trance and we don't realize how great we could actually be because our subconscious mind is just like tamed. So I'm a big believer. I try to actually, believe it or not, I train my mind at night while I'm sleeping. I try to unlock all those faulty, securities that society put on me, man.
Yeah, sure. No, that's awesome, man, and that's definitely the key. So, first things first, I also love connecting with people from Long Island. So I'm glad to have another Long Island guy sitting right across, well, not, virtually right across me, but you know what I mean. So, you're a fighter. And I, like I said before we started, I love the tenacity of what you have and what you bring. It's not even, like you said, not even just a fighter. I don't want, not just to group you that, but the way you train your mind. You know, it's bigger than just stepping in a ring or an octagon or whatever it is. The way you train your mind to fight is why you're successful and why people win.
No, I appreciate that, man. And I think everything boils down, to mindset for me because, when I first started on my journey of fighting, I was an athlete, college athlete playing football. And when I told people I wanted to transition into mixed martial arts, they looked at me like I was crazy because I already had a good job, desk job. And they were like, what do you mean? Again, a cage and fight? You're stupid. You're crazy. That'll never work. It'll never happen. And I just got a deep-rooted belief in myself that no matter what I put my mind to, I'm going to accomplish. And when somebody tells me, no, I can't, that just pushes me and motivates me to push through, that much harder.
Absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up. I happened to see something on your Instagram that I was going to ask you about. So it's the perfect segue. When you were, I think you said you were in middle school. And a teacher told you that you couldn't become champion, or you just couldn't become a fighter?
My teacher, we had you have this career day, right? And they have all these different people come in and they went around the whole entire room. They asked everybody what they want to be. When I said I want to be a professional athlete, I want to be a football player, my teacher smirked and laughed at me and said, nah, let's be a little bit more realistic. That's not going to happen. And it drove me nuts. It hurt me because I was just like, as a kid, you have all these big, lofty dreams, and for an adult to kind of shoot it down like that, it's frustrating. I think too many times as adults, we do that to kids. When you talk to a kid, you look in their eyes, when they ask you, when you ask them, what do you want to be, they get so passionate, they start going on a tangent, on a rant, and we miss that as an adult. So when she told me that, I went home that night, got that thick packet of, I think 500 sheets loose leaf, and I just kept on writing my name over and over and over again. And I said in my mind that my signature is going to be worth something one day, and people are going to ask me and want me, to give them my signature. And, that teacher now, I got the last laugh. So,
no, that's awesome, man. And so, do you think it's programmed in you from young? Because to just have that mindset of no, nothing's going to stop me. Because to go home and write your name, 1,000 times or whatever it was, or fill up, probably way more than 1,000 times, but just to fill up paper and just to have that determination. Do you think that was just in you from birth?
I don't know, man. You know what? Listen. I didn't have an easy childhood. I didn't have a childhood like some kids who are struggling a lot more than I. But everything I've known in my life that I ever wanted, my parents just instilled it that we have to work for it. I think that hard work's going to beat talent any day of the week. So for me, as a young kid, that's all I knew. Like I remember getting my first pair of nice sneakers. I had to raise money for it. Like my mom was not having it. As a Jamaican immigrant, she was not buying me those expensive shoes. She had a budget, and she was like, "Okay, your sneakers are gonna cost me $34.99. Anything else you want, you gotta go out there and get the rest." And I'll never forget one of those Deion Sanders, man. Deion came out with those like they had a little hologram looking thing on the side, and I wanted those sneakers so bad, but they were $50-something plus out of my range. So I had to bust my tail and work and bust tables and do everything. I still came up short. My big brother gave me the difference. So those sneakers I worked my tail off for. So as a young kid, man, that's like all I known was like hard work. And I was also a very stubborn child. I'm not going to make it seem like I was the perfect kid growing up. So I think sometimes being stubborn helps you.
I agree with that. Definitely. My wife would probably disagree, but I definitely, I definitely agree with being stubborn helps.
I second that.
So now I'm curious about before you went into fighting. So you said you had a desk job. Was that after college or?
Yeah, it was after college, man. I went up and down the roller coaster of corporate America, man. I worked at JP Morgan for a while as a banker. I worked at a private publishing company, being like a head finance director for there. Worked as like doing sales for a home remodeling company. And every time I had a job that I was doing well at, it was like there was always something missing. Like that wasn't me. Like that wasn't the path in life that I envisioned. I could have kept that route and been very, very successful. But it just wasn't the path that I wanted for me. And I feel like I went that route probably because I wanted to make like my parents happy, make other people happy that I cared about, but it wasn't making me happy. And I feel that, when you're older, we can't just take those big risks. We got responsibilities. So, when I was younger, I'm like, man, I should have did this a lot earlier. But you're never too old or never too young, to have success. Success has no age limit. So for me, that's huge.
I definitely agree with that. And I tell my dad that also, and he's like, yeah, but I'm a little older now. And I'm like, no, man, the Colonel came up with the recipe at 65. You never know. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. You really never know. So what was it? Was it like a defining moment or something? What was it when you were sitting at your desk and you're just like, I can't do this anymore?
Well, you want to something crazy, man. It's actually, I remember like yesterday, I was literally, went on vacation. Me and like a whole bunch of my coworkers, the CEO of my company, we went to Atlantic City because my vacations are a little bit different than most people. I don't like going to the beach and playing in the sand. I like to compete. So I like to gamble. I like to travel. So we did that. I went to Atlantic City. Then we shot over to Philly, and we went to watch UFC 101. I remember it was Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin. I sat ringside, and I'm watching these guys fight. I never went to a live event before. That's my first one.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there watching from, like, the prelims all the way until, like, the main event. And the electricity in the crowd, I was sitting there watching with different eyes. I'm, like, telling all my boys, yo, I can do this. I'm giving this a shot. Every single one of them laughed at me and said, yo, it's the alcohol. It's the Red Bull and vodka that's talking. You're out of your mind. I see your work on Monday. But it wasn't the alcohol, man. It was just the belief I had in myself. And I remember literally everything kind of happened, for a reason. Because that Monday I went back to work because that reality kicked in. And I went to the gym to lift weights, and I ran into Chris Weidman, who is like literally like my boy. And he wasn't even known at that point. He was just at a local gym, and we wrestled with each other in high school. And he said, yo, I'm doing this mixed martial arts thing. I'm like, oh, I just went and watched this fight, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, come down, check it out. You wrestled. This might be something you want to do. And I went down there, got my butt kicked the first day, the first week, the first month. And it sounds crazy, but I was addicted. I was like, I want to learn that. Like that now, I want to learn that. And the competition was just phenomenal, and I just loved it.
Wow, that's amazing. So you were here at Sarah Longo, right?
Naralongo, yeah, right here now in Long Island.
Okay, sure. That's awesome. So, I mean, that's just crazy to me that you bumped in, like they're both that path. You bumped in him. He's like, yeah, come on, try it down, and look what you both have become. I remember watching Chris Weidman. I don't remember when it was. Probably like 2012, maybe 2011, when he won Submission of the Night. I don't remember where they were. I believe they were in Vegas. I don't remember.
Oh, I think they were like in Oklahoma City or somewhere crazy.
Sure.
Where you had to stay. I think he had like the standing guillotine or something, I believe.
Yeah, right. I remember seeing him, and I'm like,
I believe.
yeah, I'm telling you, I saw him, and I'm like, this dude's gonna be special, man. I wasn't really into UFC then, but it was kind of him. He brought me in. Just seeing, it was that Long Island just caught me, and I'm like, I gotta follow this dude. And it also led me to bumping it. I mean, years later, but led me to bumping into you in Atlantic City. I'm like, oh shit, that's him. Like, So yeah, wow, that's crazy.
I'm a big believer, man, and things happen for a reason. So, it's crazy because when I respond to people on social media, right, the first thing they always say is, "This really you?" I'm like, to me, it's crazy because I'm a regular guy like everybody else. Like, there's nothing more that would have made me happier than when I was a kid growing up. If I'd have reached out to one of my idols, one of my people that I watch on TV, and they would interact with me, like, I would have been through the roof, through the wall. So when kids, especially kids, like when they reach out to me, man, like, I don't care how busy I am, I try to make a conscious decision to respond back to them, whether it's just like, hey, what's up, man, be right back, just something. I don't want to leave them hanging because you don't know what path that kid is taking. And for me, when I wrote my book and I was like on the fence, like, I don't know, what am I doing? This is kind of crazy. What do I know about being an author? And after I launched it, like a couple weeks later, I started getting people reaching out to me and and it was crazy because there was a lot of kids. And they were like, oh, thank you so much. I was so depressed. I didn't know that you went through this, because I kind of opened up a little bit in my book, and, there's definitely some room, to open up some more. But I was bullied. I was picked on. I battled depression. I think a lot of times nobody wants to talk about their insecurities. They want to always, especially as a man, you want to feel strong. You're invincible. Nobody want to talk about their insecurities, and I talk about it because it made me who I am. And I made mistakes in my life, and that's what makes me human too. So I felt like I connected with people on a different level, and it's exciting, man. To me, it's just as exciting as getting in the cage. It's crazy.
Sure, that's awesome, man. So now, also with your book, what made you want to write a book? What made you want to tell your story?
Well, it was a combination of two things, man. Like, I used to always go to schools. I used to speak to the kids because that's like one of my passions, doing motivational speaking and just kind of tell these kids I think there's another route for them. Tell them what teachers don't want to tell them. Like, right. Yeah, you want to be a professional basketball player? Yes, that's great. Hold that dream. You're going to have to do the school stuff because it doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are. You're going to have to need that. So that's going to be a part of your plan. So if you want to be a pro baller, then do this in the school. And every time I would go to like a corporate event and speak in front of a corporation, they will always say, oh, you got anything I can leave with? They wanted something tangible that they could take home. So they almost like they're taking a piece of me back home with them. And then I won a New York Emmy because Newsday did a story on me when I won the whole entire Ultimate Fighter. They followed me around for like 2-3 months, and they won an Emmy award for
That's
it.
Amazing.
I'm like, if they won an Emmy award and it's my life, it's my story, I'm a New York Emmy award-winning fighter. Like, heck, nobody knows my story better than me. Let me kind of tell a little bit of what they couldn't they'll tell. So I did that, and I'm blessed. I became an Amazon best-selling author, which I never thought. That was
congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, man. So it's just
I'll put the Amazon link for those listening. The Amazon link is going to be in the show notes. Make sure you click on that and definitely go buy the book.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, man. All the support. It's changing lives, man. And that's what. And I write my goals down every morning, man. And I've learned that people don't. It's not that we don't write our goals down. Our biggest problem is that our goals are too low, and we actually hit them. So I've done that, and I've done that because I've set some goals and I hit them, and I'm like, what now? What? So now I recalibrated. The best thing is pen and paper. Put it down. I made some very lofty goals, and every morning I wake up, they push me and they motivate me, and I speak them into existence, and like, it's gonna happen, and I'm a big believer in you help other people solve their problems, man. All your problems just tend to disappear. So I'm excited.
I definitely agree. And with your goals, it's crazy you say that. I have, as you can see here, just Post-its everywhere. When I
Yeah.
think of something, if I have to physically write it down, or I feel like I can't make it happen, it's the strangest thing. I know if I see it on paper, that I can make it happen. And
That's
also,
it, man.
I think I forget where I saw it. I think my wife brought it up, but I don't remember where we saw it. We created a vision board. And, some things you
Yes.
put on your vision board may seem, I wrote myself a check. I won't say for how much, but I wrote myself a check, and I'm like, I'm going to cash that check one day. And I see, like, and it's not just about the money or anything, but I just see like little things coming into place that when you really visualize it and set your mind to something, you can definitely achieve it. And I like that about you. I also respect 1,000% that you want to change other people's lives, because I think that's the difference maker. So, like if a dad tells, I'm sure, I'm a father. If I tell my son one thing, I'm sure he believes me. He knows I believe in him. But to hear a stranger or someone like you who he could look up to, he gets your book and he sees you and you tell him he can make it, then it's like, whoa, like this guy doesn't know me and he
Like,
says I could do it. This is awesome.
yeah, man. It's so crazy because it's just like hearing from a different voice. As I'm sitting here with you, man, I'm doing the same thing. I'm literally writing stuff down. I'm sending out like different books. Like
Sure.
It's crazy to me because like it's just so on point. Everybody wants to get the book because they're reading the Amazon reports. It's motivating them, and it's not just. When I wrote the book, I thought it was going to be for salespeople who want to get an edge, to get that mindset to overcome and beat all the obstacles. But the amount of kids that are like, oh man, I really love it. It has helped me get over this, get over that. And I'm just like, wow. Because when I wrote the book, it's crazy. I didn't want to write a huge 300-page novel. Like my life is beyond nuts. It's crazy. I could go on and on. But when I read a book, I don't want to read a book that's dragging along and it's taking forever. I want to get there, sit down like a movie, watch it, be intense the whole entire time. And when I'm done, I'm like, man, that was good. I don't want to sit there and drag on and have to read months and months and months. It's like life happens. So when I wrote the book, I took out all of the fluff. I just went straight to the meat and potatoes, and I set it up where it's like a learning tab. It's like a learning tablet. So you get the book, you find out about me, you see my obstacles, you see how I overcome it. I give you 6 different key principles how to overcome yours. So, and I think it's relatable. So young kids know that they don't have to sit there and spend 2-3 months to get through it. And for me, I feel like I wrote it how I would want to read it, because that's kind of the people that I'm going to want to attract. And so far, so good, man. I'm super excited.
You guys make Forever Trucking, right? It's called
Forever Trucking.
Make sure you guys go get Forever Trucking. My man Eddie Truck Gordon. Definitely, like I said, it's in the show links. Make sure you go get that. And I think also, like you just said, I think that's another key, and that's why I love the podcast thing, because it's my like creative outlet that I feel like I can pass on to people. It's not writing a book, because writing a book is an amazing accomplishment.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
I just know it's levels. I know it's levels.
Yeah.
But I like how you said you didn't put any of the fillers, you didn't put any of the fluff in there. You kept it straight to the point how you would want to read it, and I respect that. I think that's the best way to deliver to people, because it's straight to the and I like, that's why even meeting you, I'm like, this guy's a straight up guy. Like, I like this dude. Even talking on the phone or seeing you on social media, you're a straight up guy, and I respect that, definitely.
No, I appreciate it, man. I just want to treat people how I want to be treated, man. And the one thing I've learned, that as human beings, man, we're perfectly imperfect. So the second that we kind of think that we're too good or oh man, this and that, that's when we're gonna get humbled by life. Yeah. Because at any moment, you don't know whose hand you're gonna have to grab on. If all of a sudden the earth opens up and I'm falling, I gotta reach out. If you're like, oh, this guy treated me like garbage, I ain't put my hand out to help this guy. Like, you just don't know. That's a real drastic comparison. But you just don't know, when, where, and how you're gonna need help from anybody. So you just want to treat somebody like you want to be treated, man. That's kind of how I decided to live. And this is something I developed over time. I was not always like this. Trust me. As a kid, I didn't want to share my toys. I wasn't that guy. Sure. It literally, I've learned that, I've had some highs and lows in life, and it really, really humbled me. So I just genuinely believe that if you put out there that good vibe in the universe and you do the right things, it's like anything else. It's like magnets, man. It's gonna attract that same thing too. If you walk around negative every day and you're wondering why you can't catch a break, it's because you're attracting all that negativity in your life. No matter how bad we have a situation in life, there is somebody that has it 10 times worse. I promise you. No matter how, when I'm having a crappy garbage day, I just sit there, and sometimes it takes longer than others. And I'm just like, why me? And I'm like, you know what? Obviously, you know, God thinks I can handle it. Man up, make it happen, and then stop just making excuses. So that's just what I live by. And I preach that to my kids, man. I preach it over and over to them.
Sure, 100%. I saw this thing. It said, if you have $10 in your bank account, you're richer than 80% of the world, and it blew my mind. I was just like, wow, you know, because you think like being here in America or Long Island, wherever you are, you know, we have listeners all across the world, but you forget that there's someone out there that just wants fresh water. You know what I mean? So,
there's people, like you said, there's people that if you have one pair of rundown, beat up, beat up shoes, you know, you're the one of the wealthiest people in town. And people don't understand that. We can't grasp that because we're just so used to having. And I want to say with air quotes, the finer things in life. Like to some kid, some shoes are the finer things in life because that's not a necessity. That's a want for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy. We do not understand it until we kind of see all this chaos that's going on, and it sucks. We shouldn't have to go through that and see that to kind of realize it. So if somebody can learn from me and don't have to go through some of the obstacles and mistakes I made in life, then great.
Sure. And speaking of obstacles, now how was it to be on Ultimate Fighter? That is
crazy. I tell people, man, like you don't realize because it's TV.
Not even, excuse me, before I'm not going to cut you off. Not even just to be on it, to win Ultimate Fighter. You know, I want to make that crystal clear.
It's crazy, man. Like honestly, people don't know how much I had to go through just to get there. Because the season I won, season 19, wasn't even the season I tried out for. I tried out for season 17. I went through the whole entire thing. Went to Vegas, did tons of interviews. You know, did everything, and they end up, at that point, I was still fighting light heavyweight, and they end up changing. It was supposed to be light heavyweight and middleweight, and they end up dropping my weight class. They pretty much told me I was too fat. I never made 185, so they pretty much pulled the plug on me, and I was devastated because I had left my job. I started training full time. I was like trying to get down to 185 because I was like, I'm doing it, and at the last minute, it told me, no, we went a different route. So I was traumatized. And then when season 19 rolled around, my teammate Ali Quinta was like, "Yo, they got a season 19. It's your weight class. Give it a shot." And I was just like, I was mentally beat up. I was like, man, you know, I'm just gonna find a way to get there. They screwed me last time. I don't know. And lucky enough, he talked some sense to me. I called up the producers. They flew me in, and I was on the show, but it was different because we had to fight to get in the show, get in the house. So it's like you put your whole life on hold. And now you don't even know if you're going to be on the show. You pack your bag. You don't know if you're packing your bag for a weekend or you're packing your bag for 8 weeks. So it's crazy. It's like the biggest. It's like you're a science project. And then to go in there and fight out of 32 people, to be, you know, you got to fight 4 times in a 6-7 week period. You got to make weight. You got to live with people that you don't know. You can't talk to your kids, your wife, nobody. You're just disconnected.
Oh, wow, I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't realize that was. Sure.
It's crazy. You can't even. My son, when I was on the show, my son broke his arm in a football game.
Oh man!
And I've never missed a football game. By the time I got back home, he had broke his arm already, missed his games, fully healed. I never even seen his cast.
Wow.
So it's like when I think about that, I'm like, oh my, like that's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
you were really gone from the world.
Gone from the world. Like literally, you feel like you drop off the face of the earth, and you sign confidentiality agreements. So if somebody asks you where were you, you got to make up a lie, because for me that season didn't air until almost like 8-9 months later. So it's like it's just crazy. But just being in the house and going through that experience, people do not realize how tough it is. If you ask anybody that's been through that process, they'll tell you that it's 10 times harder than being in the UFC. Like it's literally to go through that process. Like most fighters, you look at these guys, they fight once or twice a year. Sure. You're fighting 4 times in a 6-week period.
Wow.
Like just making weight alone.
Sure.
For that, it's crazy. So I think honestly, I don't think I was the most talented, skillful fighter. I probably had the least amount of experience that season. But what I think set me apart was just my mentality. I had broken my foot before I even went there. And I was just like, there's nothing going to stop me. I'm like, when I walked in the house, I wasn't the first pick. I was damn near the second to last pick. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I am going to win this whole damn thing. Bottom line, I didn't care. And it's just, I just locked it in my mind. And I just went along my business. And I beat their number 1 pick, their number 2 pick, their number 3 pick. And then I eventually, in the finale, beat my good friend who was our team's number 1 pick. So it was a great experience, man. It definitely
amazing, man.
taught me a lot about life. Man. Not just mixed martial arts and combat sport. Because at that time, I was only involved in the sport for 4 years. So
wow.
like even now, this year is gonna be my 7th year anniversary actually competing at all. So I'm still like a baby in the fight game.
Sure.
It's exciting for me.
That's amazing. And it when you said you were only in it for 4 years before winning season 19, that's amazing. And see, when you're looking back on it, 4 years sounds so small, but to all the people listening and to everyone, when you think about, people just started, what is today, the 6th? People just started their New Year's resolutions not even a week ago. And they're already like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
You trained for 4 years, which is a long time. It sounds small because I get it when it comes to being like an athlete. Like being in something in 4 years and winning is insane. But 4 years is a lot of commitment. That's a huge commitment to perfecting your craft. You know what I mean? So I think people they may give up too fast, because I know I'm guilty of it myself. You know what I mean? Yes. I'm guilty of being like, it's gonna take forever. You know what I mean?
You said something that touched a sweet spot. A lot of times, the hardest part, I tell people all the time, because I work with people in fitness, and like I was almost 300 pounds, man. So I know the feeling of losing that weight. When I played football, I was a big guy. The hardest part of doing anything is starting. It's that activation energy to get going. Once you create a routine, that's the easy part. But it's the hardest part is starting. And a lot of times the reason why people quit, it was so hard to start, they can't imagine where the finish line is.
Sure.
And I tell people, stop looking for the finish line. Les Brown, I love Les Brown. I'm a big believer in personal development. And he said it best, a yard by yard is hard. A cinch when an inch is a cinch. So just go to little inches. Just be consistent. Like, just don't look at next week. Just try to own today. Like, I'm gonna eat right today. I'm gonna eat right this meal. The next meal I'm gonna eat right. And if you do slip up, because we're all human, if you have one bad meal, it's not gonna make your diet. And if you have one good meal, it's not gonna make your diet.
Right.
It's gotta be a whole combination of consistency. So that's the biggest thing when people are setting their goals. Like, everybody's probably still on track with their New Year's resolution. Come around February 2nd, the 2nd, 3rd week in February, you're gonna see people dropping like flies.
Things get rocky. Wendy's gets a little more appealing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's like, it's just if we can stop looking till next January and just worry about the next day and just build it up, it'll be after 21 days, man. You'll create a habit, and it'll be smooth sailing after that.
Definitely, man. Now, I want to jump back to fighting a little bit. Now, how did you? Because I never actually personally understood this, so I got a good professional here to ask. How do you like get into like fighting styles? So did you have a style you wanted to?
Yeah. See, for me, it was For me, it's weird. Like mixed martial arts, I think kids now coming up are going to be a lot different because they're training mixed martial arts. They're training all the arts together. When I first came into mixed martial arts, all I knew was wrestling because I wrestled in high school and I played college football. So that's it. My mixed martial arts base, my foundation was wrestling. Now you have kids that are doing taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling. You have kids now that are literally, they're learning mixed martial arts. Wow, so they're learning Muay Thai, boxing, all at once. Whereas when I first came in, I had to learn one, then the other, then the other. And I'm still learning today. Sure. I'm still a novice. I'm still learning. But the kids in 10, 15 years that are going to come up, they're going to be freaking natures because now you're going to have, you know, elite athletes that say, oh, man, there's financial gain. I don't have to worry about anybody. It's me versus one person. I don't have to worry my teammate dropped the ball, my teammate missed the block. It's only me. It's the responsibility is on me. When I win, it's my fault. When I lose, it's my fault. Of course, you have your training partners or your teammates, but there's no blame when you walk in there. So they're going to be training mixed martial arts. I wrestled. I wrestled in high school. I wrestled in college. I wrestled in
Right.
No, it's like
Football, right?
they play football. So it's a big difference. But now that goes right back to when I won the Ring of Combat Championship. I remember fighting, a Glory kickboxing champion. His stand-up was better than mine. This guy's been kickboxing for years on top of years. But I just knew that I'm just going to keep pushing the pace. I'm going to grind this guy. I'm going to make him uncomfortable. And for him to beat me, he's going to be willing to have to stand in front of me. And I wasn't more skilled than him, but I outworked him. I out-mindseted him. And that's how I feel like fighting, it sounds crazy, but fighting, you got to have a certain tenacity for it. But I think a lot of the fight happens up here. A lot of the fight.
Definitely. Even with football. With football, everything is up here. Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's another big problem we have, too, in society, man. We focus so much on what's below our shoulders, right? Our body. We train our body. We work out our body. We lift. We run. We do all that stuff. But why are we not training our mind?
Right.
Our mind controls our body.
100%.
So it's like, why not train our biggest asset?
I agree. And like you said, you have to get yourself to like the mindset, like, just to prove everything you said, you have to, it's not about eating right. And like you said, one bad meal is not going to ruin everything. One good meal isn't going to make it. You have to really get yourself on the right track. So also with fighting or boxing, I got a fun question for you. And I won't keep it too long. I don't want. I see you coughing and everything.
Oh, no, no, it's not you. Don't worry about it.
No worries. But now, what was that? In August, this past August, Mayweather McGregor had the big super fight, right? And I hear you talk about kids training, learning mixed martial arts, and learning different styles. And that was my question. Because coming up, I always loved the idea of fighting. Like you said, it's just you versus another person. I won't say another guy. But because you could be man or woman.
Yes, very true.
Across from each other, giving it all you got, right there in the ring. You're all going to settle it right there. But now, and I would have loved to do it, but I'm not even getting punched in the face. So
You're smart.
So that's out for me. But do you think like with the big super fight that happened, there's going to be like cross platform fighting, or?
I'm pretty sure after. That fight was a lot of money was made in that fight.
Oh yeah. Sure.
They said that fight had more bets placed than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that. Like that was $1 billion fight.
Sure.
So it's gonna happen. All they did, they just broke down the barriers. Roy Jones and Anderson Silva wanted to be the first, and Conor McGregor was the first.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so
that would have been a damn good fight, I gotta say.
Exactly. They were the same weight. I
think I'd still like to see that, actually.
Oh my God! And that's what's crazy, because when people were talking about that, they said that would never happen. Never say never. And I got to give Conor McGregor credit, man, because people talk down on him, but if you watch his stuff, man, the guy has a mindset. He sees it. He believes, whether he's completely crazy or not. That's for the outside eyes to determine, but he sees it in his mind and he works towards it. He opened up so many different opportunities for all of the other fighters, whereas some people are mad and upset that he made this and he made that, but he's doing things now that's going to open up the floodgates for other athletes, just like a Ronda Rousey. She probably wasn't the best woman fighter that they marketed her to be, but she brought women to the UFC. She brought women combat athletes to a whole nother level. Now you got women that are making millions of dollars. They're getting paid better than some professional boxers who's been boxing forever. So you got to realize that these people, they blaze a trail that's only going to benefit you. And I guarantee you, you're going to see a lot more of that a lot sooner than you actually think and you believe. And, there's some boxers that could be some legit UFC fighters that people don't realize. You look at Triple G. This guy wrestled before, man. He wrestled,
right.
And I don't care who you are. That guy got great footwork, and if he knows how to wrestle, he can stop you from taking him down. You don't want to stand with that guy.
Sure.
No, you got to think, man. And as crazy as it sounds, people think if Floyd could master boxing, if he could go back, in time, he could be a heck of a mixed martial artist. Like, you got to realize.
I believe it.
Look at that guy's footwork and his defense. He's making professional boxers look silly. Like, of course he could. If he got that same work ethic, in mixed martial arts, he can do the same thing there, man. So I don't put limits on anybody because people put too many limits on me. If I would have listened to what everybody thought, I would never be – you wouldn't know who I am. You wouldn't be sitting here having this podcast interview with me. I wouldn't have the platform I got to help and change and shape other lives. So – it's like a catch-22. You tell your kid.
What? I think I'd still be across from you for some strange reason. Maybe you'd be in an NFL uniform. I don't know.
Yeah, listen.
Because you have it. Like I think the main focus is the mindset. Because I think you have what it takes to do whatever you. Because I see you're in a good place. So whether you were like, I don't know, growing pumpkins somewhere, I don't know. But I think you'd be growing big-ass pumpkins and doing what you're doing. You know what I mean?
I like that. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to agree with you. Listen, I think this, man. I think that we're in the age now where there's so many different things that we can do to be successful. If you're not successful, and I'm not saying that we're all going to be millionaires and billionaires, but there's so many little things that you can do to succeed in life. It's just the little things that's gonna happen. Like, I'll blow your mind, man. I get people all the time inboxing me, asking me, random people I never met before out of a hole in the wall, asking me for money. Oh, I'm running this problem. I don't know this dude from a hole in the wall. I'm like, yo, they got family that I gotta take care of it. But this random, and I'm like, yo, let me ask you a question, man. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm an electrician, or I'm this or that. I'm like, so get your butt up and go work. Like, when I was broke, I used to go to restaurants with my kids and didn't have enough money to order everything that we all wanted. So I'll sit there and make up some excuse telling them, oh, daddy's not hungry. I'll make them lose weight, whatever it is, something, so that I can make sure that they ate what they wanted and they weren't disappointed. So they get a good memory in their mind. So it's like, I made those sacrifices. Why can't you?
Sure.
Everybody just wants handouts sometimes. It drives me nuts.
I think I like to preach that ideas are the new currency. We're in 2018 right now. You don't even need to necessarily be good at anything. If you have the idea and you can work towards it and reverse engineer what you want, I believe you can make it happen.
I completely agree with you. Throw that in with execution, and It's done. It's a done deal.
I always wanted to own a car wash. So recently I actually purchased a van and I started a mobile car wash. Car wash on wheels would come right to you. It wasn't the best time of the year to start it because it's freezing outside, but I know myself. I'm like, you know what? I gotta get everything in place because one thing I know that's gonna come around, the warm weather is gonna come. Opportunity always doesn't knock at your front door. So right now, it's sitting with snow on the roof, but I know that as soon as it gets a little bit, warms up, I'll be right back out there. And so you just have to have the idea, plan it, put it into place.
Yes, man. That's it, man. I love it, man. I tell people all the time, man, oftentimes opportunity hides, behind adversity. So you gotta always kind of think outside the box, man. And, every time there's an obstacle, you can overcome it. And that's when you break through and that's where you have your success. So.
Sure, because it's never gonna come drop down in your lap or at your front door. Never gonna happen.
No, never gonna happen. Like I honestly, I haven't seen a successful person that didn't have to work hard. I haven't seen this. You think about the most successful people that we know in different industries, whether it's basketball, business, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, sure. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. Like, just keep going on. And any sport, they all had some serious adversity. They all failed. They all failed at something. People don't even know that, got fired from his own company, Apple. He got fired from his own company he started. Like, people don't even realize that.
Yeah,
it's just like, it makes you sit there and think like, wow, that's wild.
Yeah, no, very true. And another thing I see that we're on the same page with is the guru Gary Vee. I see you posted a video, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and I saw it on his page, but I didn't save it and I lost it. And you posted it and I was like, yes, thank God. When he says it's not what you have, it's just do you know how to use it. So when he talked about he's like the ROI on a piano for him, 0. And I'm thinking, like, for me, 0. Guy like Billy Joel, like Gary Vee said, $1 billion. A basketball for me, I don't know. I'll play D. You probably pick me in a 5-on-5, but as far as going and making money, not gonna happen. But LeBron, $1 billion. So when I saw that, I had to save it, and I'm like, yo, you have to work with what you got. Whether you believe that God gave it to you, or whatever you believe in, you have to work with what you have. And I see that you gravitate towards the same kind of energy. You know what I mean? When I see you like Gary Vee,
Yeah, man. It's wild though, because honestly, like that was another key factor in me doing my book, man. Before
Really?
I went on the Ultimate Fighter, the past season, redemption season, like I spoke with Gary, and I was telling him how, dude, this guy is real, and that's what made me say, wow. I reached out to this dude. He literally contacted me back, shot me an email, got me his assistant's number. We started kicking it, and he was like, whatever you want to do, man, doesn't matter what people think. Just do it. He's like, just do it. If you succeed, you succeed. Great. If you fail, you learn, and now you're on to the next thing. He's like he goes and tells me he talks to a lot of old people, and the constant theme is regret. He's like, that's the constant theme that keeps coming up and up and up. And he's like, if you can live a regret-free life, you've been truly blessed. So if we think about that for a second, I'm like, I have some regrets still in this day and age.
Sure.
But if we can actually live a regret-free life, that's just beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, Gary Vee was the final piece for me starting a podcast. I've been talking about it for forever. I happened to see a tweet from 2000 this year. I happened to see a tweet in like February from 2012. And it said I should start a podcast. And I'm like, damn, that was 5 years. And I knew my podcast was up and on iTunes by March 23rd. But it was Gary Vee to push it over. Like, I'm listening to Gary Vee's podcast. Like, you know what? I've been wanting to do this forever. But I didn't speak to him, obviously. But just even listening to him, like, what are you waiting for every day? It made me want to push and really get things done. And it showed me also, like, no one was stopping me but myself. As soon as I thought about it, I did it within a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Truck, man, I greatly thank you for coming on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it. Listeners, make sure you guys go get Forever Trucking. Like I said, it's going to be in the show notes. Definitely click on that. Go order that. Be at your house in 2 days.
That's it. 2 days. Amazon Prime. In 2 days, you can 10 times your life and change your life, man. Like, honestly, I'm telling people, I'm obviously a little bit biased, but it's probably one of the most impactful reads of this year. And it's not gonna be a 2-month read. If you sit down, I'm gonna get you glued to that seat. You're gonna finish that book in 3 to 4 hours. If you read a little bit slower, it might be 6 hours tops reading time. And the audio book's coming out too. 'Cause I have a lot of people that hit me up and say they want to hear it. They don't want to read. So I'm gonna do that for them. And I'm super excited. But
yeah, my wife likes the audio book. She's a dog trainer, and she does dog walking all throughout here in Port Washington, Long Island. But
there you go.
Yeah, so when she she can't walk with the book obviously, but when she has her headphones in, she listens to books. So that'd be great for people who are on the go, or if you sit in traffic or whatever you do. But
yes, man, that's it. You just motivated me to get the audiobook done. That's it. I'm getting it done. I might have to come over to your spot, man. You got the whole setup. Look at the sound.
We got plenty of microphones here. We got the foam on the walls. You got an open invitation, man. You know it.
Done deal. Well, thank you so much for having me, man. I just want to say thank you, Bo. You've been amazing. And, anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm an open book, man. At Truck MMA_UFC. That's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's Snapchat. I try to keep it simple so it's consistent across the line. Truck MMA_UFC. And, I'm just grateful and blessed to have you, to actually have this connection and be on the show, man. I wish you nothing but the best. I already know you're gonna be super, super successful. I could tell.
I really appreciate that, man. This won't be the last time we get up either. Definitely.
Oh no, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
Hey man, I hope you feel better, and thank you for pushing through and coming on the show. I appreciate it. The people, they'll definitely be in contact with you, man. Thank you so much,
man. No problem. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Take care. Listeners, if you're listening in the podcast app, I need you to go rate this. So make sure you search King Bo Christ or search by the podcast name. I say that to say this. Leave a 5-star rating. I don't know, a goat emoji or something, some nice words, and hit send. I appreciate you listening. Thank you.